go. There we go. If I could get this thing to work. I swear, Streamlabs is the worst software in history. Absolute worst software in history. Bear with me. I'm trying to get this thing going. Streamlabs is absolutely awful. All right, I guess my charts aren't going to load today. Like it just won't. Like Streamlabs is terrible. I apologize. Anyway, 24,988 here on Nasdaq, still coming off right here, all the way down. So overall, we don't really have much data today. We do have a ton of data today, or this week. Wednesday we have non-farm payroll for January. Friday we have CPI. We have, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell's testimonies begin today with the Epstein files. So we have that. We have 112 C-17s being shipped over to the Middle East right now. So something is kicking up some dust. A whole bunch of potential headline risk, but overall, is that in terms of the absolute catalyst for the known events, all we have really is Wednesday and Friday. So back and forth stuff. Right now, we're just kind of waiting here. I'm looking at premiums. At the money options at IV is 26%, which is not low. Which is not low. Yep, Streamlabs won't load my chart, so I apologize. But we'll do. You could do some spot gammon today. All right, so already we've got put selling and call selling out of the gate here, both of them. Nasdaq is already bottoming back up. I kept my one Nasdaq short all night, added to 3 scalps out while waiting for an MRI. Nice. So Top Step has now not only restricted trading into micro silvers, but they've reduced it to 2 contracts. So they cut it all the way back to where you can only trade 2, no matter what your account is. So obviously, it appears that the reason why they made all these cuts is so they could pay for their gigantic Super Bowl ad. They took out a Super Bowl ad. Didn't see it, didn't watch the Super Bowl, but yeah, there you go. That's what your payouts are going to. All right, top wick here off of the highs. Again, we have a bunch of put selling, call selling activity, back and forth. What's up, YouTube? How's it going? If anybody knows of any streaming software other than Streamlabs, I will take it. This is absolutely awful. There's got to be another option out there. TopStep had an NFL ad. Apparently, yeah, they did. They had an NFL ad or a Super Bowl ad. All right, nice little top wick on Nasdaq over 25.07. If you looked at Friday's action, Friday was obviously a melt-up type of session under incredibly low volume, driven by zero DT activity. And of course, they ended the day with a 100-point sell-off. Now, what does that tell us from Linda Raschke's order book perspective? When you close the day with an incredible amount of selling, it leads to an order book downfall the next session, just a little bit of profit taking. And of course, we already have NASDAQ spiked to 336 and then gave back 400 points of it, and now we're in the process of giving the rest of it back. So the order book shifts into theme. Now that's nothing different. There's nothing different there. That's been the theme now for 5 months, is that every single little green has been used for high volume dumps. So what happens is we have high volume dump back over, and then low volume 0 DT call buying to bring it back up, and then a high volume dump, and then 0 DT call buying back up, and rinse and repeat, leading us to 5 months, going on 6 months, absolute pin range. OBS Studio? Yeah, I'll try that. So we have call buying, put selling here on the zeros. We have 26% IV at the money S&P options. So far, NASDAQ has already bought back up 100 points. Let's go take a look around the markets. All of the S&P is deeply red. Half of tech is deeply red. Amazon's down 3%, Apple's down almost 2%. And then the market, the other half is slightly green. So bearishness abounds. We have the VIX is up almost 4%, back up to 18.5, as it's continuing to hold elevated prices. Of course, options chains are very elevated. The reason why I said is that the house is kind of built on cards here, or the market's built on a house of cards or sand, whatever, is that there is no volume supportive in the market. We can't take out higher highs. There's no high volume bottom wicks. But there's a ton of 0 DTE calls and long-dated puts showing us that any little pressure whatsoever, and we are going to just get smoked. And we're starting to see that. We saw a huge sell last week with 0 DTE bottom wicking. I'm trying to get my... Yeah, it's just not working. Oh, I think we're good. Hey, I got it to work. Look at that. Finally, got it to work. Welcome, welcome. All right, what we got here? So at the moment here, like I said, I am looking for just simple a 3C entry here. The NASDAQ is already kind of just drifting higher. If you look at the S&P, it's drifting back up higher too. We have, once again, the same exact market. What we're seeing here is the market opening after a pretty dang heavy red day. I mean, NASDAQ dumped 400 points. The S&P dropped. They went from 69.80 to 69.20. They dropped 60 points, which obviously IV spiked, VIX spiked, puts inflated. So what you're seeing here is closing out of the puts. We're being driven here by, at the about $600 million worth of put closing out of the bell, which is causing this positive gamma little spike, which is, this is what we see all the freaking time. Call buying is non-existent. We have dead flat calls. They're not even touching 0 DD calls right now. This is all put closing. And to be determined if this is in fact going to retrace back down, which I think is a good chance. The hero tool is taking half the screen. Nice. There you go. Right there. You see the blue line going straight up? That is put closing in the S&P drifts. So very similar open to what we've been seeing now for a while. We have, let's take a look at the data. Massive green candle, NASDAQ is still going, ES is still going. In terms of data, biggest green candle of the day so far, just absolutely blasting. So far, we're already up almost 200 points on NASDAQ from the lows. Same exact open as Friday. Same exact open as Friday. So 124 on NASDAQ here. We have CB employment trends at the top of the hour, but it's a one-star event. It's not going to do anything, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. NASDAQ, small green, instant bottom. We literally copy and paste open from Friday, both on options and the order flow. Price action's the same. The options are the same. Puts are straight up, and now they're starting to buy some calls, and we put on the largest green candle of the day right there. So probably going to come up and attack this 25-156, but other than that, high volume top wicks. That's what we're looking for here. High volume top wicks. I know better than to jump in the first 15 minutes of Mondays. I don't do nothing the first 15 minutes. It is a mousetrap trying to jump in the momentum of the first 15 minutes. You're going to get wicked out. You're going to get bottom wicked. You're going to get top wicked. It's going to do a bunch of nasty stuff. Still going, 150, 140. NASDAQ is still skyrocketing. We have call buying, put selling. Once it takes out this 137, we'll come up and grab the 155. After that, we'll go 213, so on and so forth. Literally, this is the exact same open as Friday. And if you tried to short at any point on Friday, you got wrecked, except the morning. The morning was fantastic, and then, of course, it dumped. NASDAQ is absolutely skyrocketing here. Not a single selling instance except the open. What's up, YouTube? How's everybody going? Everybody have a good weekend? We got some record-breaking warm weather coming in. After record-breaking cold weather, 2 weeks later, we have record-breaking warm weather. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. We do have high volume coming in at the 940. We have a very small top wick forming. We'll see where that leads us. NASDAQ is coming down just a touch, but obviously everything's being bottom wick, so there's no momentum yet. I need a lower low to even consider a short position, and just like clockwork, instantly hammered bottom wick back up. So it's exactly the same thing as Friday. That's why I'm not touching anything the first 15 minutes, and of course that will probably lead us to 225, 300. We'll see. Must have been nice. We're still frozen up here. Oh, yeah. We will do with the 3 C's and the markets till we. Oh, there you go. I'm not sure what you mean. But yeah, so I'm not touching nothing until I get a 3C. We have a high volume spike there at the 930. We have an itty bitty little top wick, but it's instantly bottom wick back up. This is the exact same open as Friday. Just up, 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 up and away. 300, 400, 500 points, and then we'll go from there. But until then, like to get me to trade the first 15 minutes on Monday is no, I'm good. So we have a tremendous amount of call buying, put selling. Everything is straight up. 700 million of calls purchased, 400 million of puts sold, and once they bottom wick this little red, they'll just rocket ship. But once all that settles, I'm looking for Friday's lows. Still chilling. Today you want Friday's lows? I could very easily see today as Friday's lows, although not necessarily. I'm definitely looking for it this week, early in the week, but today will be determined. So as of right now, I don't like this drift green stuff. I mean, this seems to be a very common open lately. That's why patience has been paying very well for me, because once I wait out this 0DT call buying nonsense, low volume crap, the trade becomes very obvious and very easy and very quick to pay as long as I'm patient. But I'm not going to touch this low volume grind crap every day. It's just, I'll let it. I don't care if it goes 700 points up. I'm not going to take a single long position. I'm just going to wait for a high volume 3C top wick, and that's it. Because it pays very well and it pays very quickly, but just a lot of patience. Why are you looking for Friday's lows? Distribution? Yep. So again, the markets are high volume sells. It's distributive. High volume sells. And then we have these low volume grind, 0DT call buying is up like this. I mean, this is, we're starting to see these type of opens almost every single day, where we just low volume grind up driven by 0DT call buying, and that's it. Just up, up, and away. So, and when that happens, you just sit there and play and watch, and that's it. 25, 153. Sweeping top wick again. We'll wait for the 3Cs. Oh, man. Oh. We have 1-star event date at the top of the hour. It's literally not going to do anything. We will probably get the 10 o'clock shake and bake, but that's it. Sweeping top wick on NASDAQ. Can we get a lower low? Maybe. Call buying and put buying. Call buying and put selling. Call buying and put selling. Massive green, still going up. I will sit here and watch this thing for 500 points. I ain't taking a single long position, not one. As long as they keep doing this low volume grind, shorting is paying off way too well. So I will wait for my 3Cs. So if you're expecting me to chase the longs, sorry to disappoint. Sorry to disappoint. That's why. You see that crap right there? That keeps happening. That keeps happening. Every single day they do this nonsense. Every single day they do this nonsense. Some of the worst market conditions we've had in 5-6 years. The prop firms are loving it though, because they took away the golden cash cow, and now we're forced to trade this choppy NASDAQ crap. Bottom wick on NASDAQ. This is what happens when you're farther north in South Canada. Yeah. Silver, 3C. We do have a 3C forming. 943 high volume top wick. Beautiful stuff. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to focus more on silver here. I'm not even touching NASDAQ until they give me a 3C. What's up, options noob? How you doing? SPY, yeah. So options premium are still jacked. So options premium are still jacked. We do have more put buying coming in here. We're coming up on the top of the hour. There we go. Got a little green coming on down. A red coming on down. Do not touch NASDAQ until it gives you a 3C. That's all it is. Coming on down. YM? Yeah. Everything's getting destroyed. The whole markets is getting destroyed. Most of tech is getting destroyed. RTY got destroyed. Dow got destroyed. That's what I'm telling you, is that if you could just be patient and wait for this low volume grind to come out, they are going to smoke this thing. Just be patient. Just like always. Just be patient. Give you a 3C, and we will take it. And we will take it. A little bit of red coming on. All the way down. Just wait. We have data in 9 minutes. I would at least look for a sweep range down to 688 on the S&P. Dow is absolutely getting destroyed. RTY is getting destroyed. The S&P is coming down. NASDAQ is coming down. So, NASDAQ will sweep the range down to 960. And just do its thing, homie. Just do its thing. We have a bunch of put buying, call selling. I'm telling you, I would look for an S&P to sweep the whole range. Just got to be patient. Just got to be patient. What's up, Trippy Mike? How you doing? What is the 3 C's? 3 C's stands for the 3 criteria, which is my trading system. So on the 5-minute, we already have a top wick. We have a small increase in volume. And once they hold this, they've just sold off all the calls they had. They've purchased back all the puts they sold, so the option chain is starting to shift. And will maintain distribution. What data? It's literally I wouldn't even pay attention to it. It's a 1-star event. I don't even remember what it is. It's not a non-factor. But I would, it's more important is that we have the 10 o'clock move coming. 10 o'clock move. Can we get a shift down into 69.24, which is the low of the day range? We have a ton of put buying, call selling here. Both options lines are going straight down, which means bearish indication. We do have a minor 3C here on the S&P. We're attacking the 50% range here, at which point if we give out, we'll attack the low, which is 69.24.5. Coming on down. Coming on down. What's up, Trippy Mike? How you doing? So they went from 400 million puts sold all the way into neutral. So they are still buying a bunch of puts, and they sold off about 600 million worth of calls. So we're at 50% of the range here on the S&P, 69.41. Once they give out this range, we have all liquidity down to 69.24, which is another 20 points, and that'll give us the range at the moment. No wonder I struggle. I thought that these 3 C's stood for cheesesteak. Hey, those are some fantastic 3 C's, yes. Fantastic 3 C's. A little bit more red. Apparently, Congress gets the unredacted files today of the Epstein files, and Thomas Massie says if they don't release them, he will start to read off all the names publicly. That dude needs to be elected president, man. I'm telling you, he's great. He's great. A ton of call selling, people. They're selling all the calls here. Warning. Warning if you're long. They're selling off the calls. Selling off the calls. Did I hear you have a sweet logo for Taxation is Death t-shirt? Not me. I forget who made that. Kennedy? Somebody made that shirt. But yeah, it's fantastic. Did you see the Kentucky speaker ripped a microphone out? I did see that. I'm not sure what to believe. I saw some different perspective about that. So I'm curious about what the truth is. But they said that Massey was going way over his time, and they took it out of his hand because he went over his time. But I don't know. Hey, big bottom wick, of course. Just be patient, and we're going to play down to 69.24 on the S&P. Some of the stuff I'm seeing. Yeah, it's pretty awful. It's pretty awful. Call selling, put buying is what I'm seeing here. We're coming up on the top of the hour, and I want to start getting some positions on here. Let's go take a look at silver. What do we got? Silver's starting to come back up to highs. NASDAQ is chilling, 25,125. Another top wick. Not looking all that great. We have a whole bunch of put buying, call selling here. So the option chain is looking pretty dang bearish at the moment. Pretty dang bearish. Just be patient. Let's go look at ES. ES is here, 69.48. Silver's new high of the day. Silver blasting off. Holly tore into Netflix CEOs. It's so funny, like a naughty kid in school. Oh, I didn't see that. Top of the hour in 3 minutes, and we'll start to visit the low of the day range here. Just be patient. Just be patient. Do I trade full time? Yes, I do. Although I have many income sources, but I do trade full time. Nothing's moving. We are dead flat, hanging out here at 69.47 on the S&P. I'm just waiting to target the 69.20 range here, which is the bottom of the current session. We have put, buying, call, selling. We have bearish options flow. We have a deeply red market. Most of the market is deeply red. There's only a couple of names that are actually green. So NVIDIA is the only thing. It's pretty much the only thing holding up the market, which it's only biding time. I'm just waiting to go to range low, baby. Of course, I'm not taking nothing until I see a 3C. High volume top wick with a lower low. That's it. That's it. Very boring. Very boring. Do I have a video on the 3Cs? Yes, sir, I do. It's on my YouTube channel. I'll get it for you. I do. There you go. Let me know if you have any questions. 40 seconds till the top of the hour. NASDAQ is still continuing top wick here after the very low volume kind of drift. Just be patient. Just be patient. This is incredibly slow. Incredibly slow. All right, here's the top of the hour. NASDAQ is chilling, 130. No movement, no movement. We have a tremendous amount of call selling. They are dumping all the calls here. All the calls are being dumped. Look, I mean, they're selling off everything. They went from 800 million all the way down, and they're still selling them. Monday meltdown. Order book a stack below. Yeah, we just got to be patient. We just got to be patient. No movement. So we knew the data itself wasn't anything to really be concerned with, but it's just the order book is stacked low. We have bearish options flow. They're selling off all the calls. We have multiple top wicks. We do have a possible minor 3C setup. Nothing crazy confident here. But yeah, we just got to wait. And if it does break this range, then we're going to target the low of the day, which is 24,955 on NASDAQ and 6,924 on the S&P. So we have another high volume top wick. We have now 2 high volume top wicks on the S&P. We have a whole bunch of call selling here, but no price movement. Do I use Bookmap? Yes, I do, every day. Every day. Silver coming back off just gently, just gently. Let's go take a look. NASDAQ is still chilling. The S&P is still chilling. Very boring. Very boring. Very boring. I heard there's 112 C-17s being transitioned over to the Middle East at the moment. Let's hope that's not true. I haven't heard any confirmation from that, and I live in a state with a unit of C-17s. All day, son. In theory, there's a 3C. Yeah, there is a 3C short here. It's like I said, it's minor. It's not a huge sweeping top wick where I'm really going to get excited about a 3C. I mean, obviously the S&P is dead flat. NASDAQ is dead flat. The market is deeply red. The market breadth right now is incredibly weak. Most of tech is red. Most of the S&P is deeply red. We have the VIX is still going up. We have call selling. So like I said, I am going to look for a target to the low of the day of 69.25, but we got to get through this 50 Fibonacci here, and whatever this support is a 69.40. We deeply, deeply need this market to get out of this range. Like, we need a good 6-8% red day to get us out of this range and get some volatility back, because this is the tightest range we've now seen in over 6 years. Just dead flat now for going on 6 months. September was when we entered this range, and we haven't left. It's terrible. Do I stream on other platforms? I do. I stream on Discord. Yeah. Didn't know you followed Fibonacci. I don't. I do target the half range, but I'm not really I guess call me a Fibonacci guy. I don't track the other ones. I just track the 50%, the 50 range. Whole bunch of put call selling here. They haven't started buying puts, but they are selling off all the calls. Let's go take a look at the VIX. The VIX is down into 18 and staying there after a pop. RTY is starting to a little climb here. The Dow, V recovered. NASDAQ is chilling. ES is chilling. Very, very slow. Very, very slow. No movement whatsoever. No movement whatsoever. Dead flat. RTY is starting to recover, the smalls. The whole reason the Fib numbers work is human psychology. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. CL is flat. Silver's top wicking. RTY. NASDAQ. Just nothing's moving. Just dead flat. See what happened to Japan, man? That's crazy. Didn't see. The most conservative government by a landslide since World War II. They had their elections in sweeping, right wing, extreme right wing in their government. So they're shutting down their borders. They're completely locking down their borders. I'm pretty hard-headed with my losses. I'm finally understanding what you meant by just be patient. Yeah, definitely. definitely. Just gotta be patient. I'm not touching any of this crap until I get a 3C top wick. Nothing. Yep, new high on ES and NASDAQ. Not looking all that great. Market breadth is very, very weak. We're just doing a bunch of low volume stuff here. No 3Cs. RTY V recovered. The Dow has V recovered. Just need a lower time frame trend in the 3Cs. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Patience has paid very well, though, man. This is the same exact open they do every single day. Just go up and up and up and up and up and up and up on this low volume nonsense, and then they crash the crap out of it. So I'm not touching any of this. I'm not going to touch any of it until I get exactly what I need to see. Spot Gamma had an excellent write-up last night and today. Did you watch the flyover? I didn't watch a single second of that nonsense. I refuse to participate in that garbage. I have better things to do in my time than be told I'm worthless. That I'm the problem. Who would have thought locking down borders would be a good idea? Yeah. 714 million in calls purchased, 587 million puts sold. I did watch the Turning Point show. It was actually pretty dang good. I love Randy Houser, man. He's great. It's pretty dang good. Why is my stream so wholesome? I don't know. I just say what I mean, I guess. Welcome. NASDAQ is 69.60 here. We have a whole bunch of call buying, so they just put on 800 million worth of calls in about 30 seconds. And we're skyrocketing now. NASDAQ, yeah, 69.60. I was on the roof watching the jets land pretty much right over my house. Yeah, B1s are insanely loud. They're one of the loudest planes we have in our inventory. It's crazy. How's everybody doing with the competition? We still in the runner for the TakeProfitTrader competition? Who's getting that money? Still in? Nice. Killing it, baby. I love it. I love it. Keep up the great work. I've been getting a 50% pass rate on combines this year and been trading really well, but I can't get through an XFA to save my life. That's very common. It's the same thing of going with paper trading into into real money. Is that there's always that barrier for some reason. It's psychological. I took one good trade on Friday, and I literally left the office and didn't come back the rest of the day. I haven't taken a single trade today, and I won't until I see exactly what I need to see. And if I don't, then I guess I'll come back tomorrow and see if I can put on a trade. But I refuse to take this low volume grind up stuff. It's a good way to get clapped. I hate it. I can't read it. I ain't gonna do nothing until there's. And luckily, though, they keep on giving us fantastic opportunities into the afternoon of very high volume dumps, and that's what I will play. I didn't join the challenge, but I started my first TPT. Nice Ghost of Peanut. Very cool, man. I'll just grind it up, do what you got to do. Get that money. Get that money. I've just started taking 25% since these swings, and I'm having, been having on the wrecking me the last month. I'm happy to be a little green and spectator. There you go. Little green is good. Little green is good. Looks like they're trying to go for Friday's high of the day. Well, they've already taken out Friday's high of the day overnight. So they're kind of dealing with a couple of pivots here at 25,213, which is Friday's highs, and it's that little pivot here from about 2 o'clock this morning. And if they take it, and of course the next target will be the overnight highs of 347, which will be another 150 points higher, which, I guess they could possibly do that. There's absolutely zero appetite to sell today, which as long as they do that, I ain't touching nothing. I ain't touching nothing. Until I see exactly what I need to see and some confidence, I ain't touching nothing. That's how I stay consistent. Look at that. High volume sells. That's why I don't touch the longs, because all it takes is a little bit of pressure, and NASDAQ drops 60 points. No thanks. No gracias. I think the fight or flight mindset doesn't have a strategy. That's my theory. What do you mean? Another bottom wick. They are trickling back into puts, selling back some calls here. We have, let's go to the 5-minute. We have a slight volume spike at the 10:05 candle. Very, very slight. We have the smallest of top wicks forming, but of course it's instantly being bottom wicked here, which is the same thing as Friday. And yeah, I'm just going to look around here, see if I can find some opportunity. Maybe look at silver for some opportunity. We have some potential top wicks, a potential 3C forming on silver. Not there yet, but potential. RTY is rocketing after getting dumped. And there we go. There we go. The lead singer of Three Doors Down passed away this weekend. I'm bummed, man. It's top three, one of my top 3 favorite bands. I know the band personally. Good dudes. Real good dudes. From what? Yeah, throat cancer. He got diagnosed in May of 25, and he died Saturday. He died. That's terrible. I was $200 from blowing the accounts on the competition. Now I'm at 49,129 now, playing it safe. There you go. Nice. Put buying is starting to accelerate, but the markets are just drifting here. Not touching nothing. That's fast. Yeah, that's fast. What do you mean by the fight or flight mindset, Streets also? Going from paper to real money is a threatening experience. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, people usually trade scared. That's the problem. They switch to the money and they trade scared. They trade protective, which you don't really want to do. You develop your system, you develop your setup, you take the trade, you set your risk parameters, and you just don't touch it. Get your hands off. So, big green, still drifting on no volume here. I'm not going to touch anything. So, I actually heard 4 different headlines this weekend that they found some very possible cures for a lot of cancer, which is interesting. Big announcements. 69.63, markets are still skyrocketing. I'm not touching nothing. I'm currently reading spot gammas right up for some levels. Ivermectin, yeah. What's the strategy of the morning high and morning low? Well, it's just you take the first 60 minutes of the day and you plot the high and you plot the low. And those are the levels that you exploit throughout the session. So that's how you define the trend up, the trend down, or the range. So we have a very skewed book here. They just piled in. Literally in 30 seconds, I watched the calls spike 400 million. So once again, the same exact thing for 5 months. There's zero volume. It's all zero DT call. That's all it is. It's the whole reason why we've been stuck now at all-time highs for 5 months, is that they're just buying zero DT calls. It makes the price action very difficult to read. No volume, just slow grind, nonstop. They're skyrocketing calls. Look at that. They just went from 400 million to 1.1 billion in calls in about 4 minutes. Straight up. Probably going for Friday's highs. Just took that out on ES. NASDAQ has already taken Friday's highs. ES is just now taking it. Once we do that, we'll reattack 69.80, which is the overnight highs. That is awesome. Very cool, Cole. Very cool. All right. I'm done with the S&P and NASDAQ. I'm going to go look at the silver. I have a volume alert posted for NASDAQ and S&P, so if I see something, I'll come back and look. But right now, silver's putting on a possible 3C, which is setting up nicely. Gold is starting to extend to the downside here from 5047. Possibly can get some 36.8. That sounds enticing to long. Legit data is going up. Well, there's no data. There's no data. It's just the call buying is extraordinarily strong. There's no put activity here. The volume is insanely light. One of the catalysts for red at the open was RTY and Dow dumping, and they're starting to recover. The whole market is actually deeply red, but the indices are just being riddled with zero DT calls, and you pump it. And then, of course, when the calls come off the books, you have a 2% red day. So it's a drift market. Unfortunately, you know, it doesn't give me a systematic entry, so I have to sit here and watch it. I don't like chasing green just because it's going up, but I have to have a consistent systematic entry. Call buying is skyrocketing. Oh, my hero indicator locked up. There we go. It's kind of laggy today. My hero indicator is. Silver's bouncing. NASDAQ is still going, of course. ES is still going. RTY still going. Gold coming back over. Silver, oil's not moving after a big pop. What else we got? VIX is coming back off. They're killing the VIX. There we go. That's your cause once again, is pop the VIX, roll the VIX. Pop the VIX, roll the VIX. Possible 3C on gold. Possible. Yeah. Is there any plans for CME to make a smaller silver contract? I did see that they were going to do that. They're going to do like a 1/100th of a silver contract. I don't know if that ever came to fruition or not, but that's what I saw. Oh man, small little top wick forming. Tremendous amount of calls on the book, so those need to come off before we have any hope of a 3C. If we go to the 5, we have a top wick with minor volume. Not a lot of clear indications here, and all we're doing here is just kind of defending the pivots here from 69.70. So yeah, we'll just have to be very patient. This week has potential to be extraordinary. We just have to be patient, you know. There's a lot of week left, of course. What's up, Will? How you doing? How do they buy so many calls so fast? Well, I mean, that's been running the game now. That's been running the game now for a couple of years. 0 DD calls. So the big dogs come on the books. They start absolutely piling into puts or calls or whatever. They put on millions and millions and billions, and that's it. That's why we keep having this slow, low volume grind, is because when the volume does hit on the order book, it's in the form of selling. So we get these huge sells, 2, 3, 4% in a couple of days, and then they stop selling and they start buying 0 DTE calls and they pump it back up. That's it. It's just a churn and burn, a washing machine of selling, and then they buy 0 DTE calls, and that's how they juice the calls and pump the calls and dump them, and vice versa. So it's not the funnest market to trade. It's not the funnest. I told y'all last week that I absolutely killed it with silver in December into the first 2 weeks of January, and now my gains have kind of tapered off, and the normal trading is starting to come in. My win rate's dropping back to where it normally should be, and the profits are leveling out. And that's because silver. Obviously, the props took away our silver. They increased the margin for options to like $95,000, so you have to use a ton of capital to trade silver options. And then the indices have been back and forth. So I've been doing really, really well on shorts on the indices, and I'm just waiting on this low volume grind to kind of pop. I'm not really touching many longs right now because we're not putting in any highs. I'll just kind of watch these low volume grind days, and then I'll play the very volatile short positions when they present themselves. And it makes for some boring sessions, I understand, and I apologize. It's not the funnest to sit here and watch me do nothing, but unfortunately, that's what I have to do. My system is the 3 C's. And I don't like chasing low volume green. So we have a nice little 15-point top wick. We'll see if that actually presents to do anything. Well, my hero is frozen, unfortunately. I can't. There we go. So they're starting to close out some puts there, but I don't know. We'll see. Three C on gold, nice. Yeah, bottom wick on gold there. Silver is putting on this little flag into 81.67. There you go. And we'll plot into a high of 81.84. If anyone still cares about silver there, but gold's nice. I'm not entertained, yeah. At least we have your witty humor. I try to be. NASDAQ is drifting a little bit lower. Nice. I mean, overall, we have a 50-point range if they can turn this into a range day. So I hope they can get something going here and give us a beautiful. If we can get a 50-point range day, there's a ton of money to be had. And then, if they dump this thing back over and give me a nice high volume bottom wick, then I have an actionable long position. I can play long position. I don't like, because when you try to chase long, low volume grinds like this, I mean, look, 15-point top wick out of nowhere that you're going to struggle with, and you don't know when to take that long position. So, we'll see. The big green all the way back up. All the way back up. About to put a new high in. There we go. 15-point bottom wick back up. They're selling calls and buying puts, so yeah, but obviously the order flow is still going. Gold's been raining since last night. Nice. I would not be surprised to see a sweep of the high that didn't dump it. Yeah. That 1 minute chart looks algo driven. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's just, and what causes this in this positive gamma stuff where they're just hammering zero DT calls, and what spot gamma's talked about, the damage it causes to the order book is that when you have a tremendous amount of zero DT calls and that's it, it forces the dealers into a positive gamma environment, which is just a drift, the slow, grindy drift higher with no selling whatsoever. And until those zero DT calls start coming off, I mean, that's it. That's all we have to do. So, what's your normal win rate? Anywhere between 75 to 78% is my normal stuff. For January and for 2 months, I performed quite higher than that, which is obviously an anomaly. But that's the whole beautiful thing about trading, is that if you have a good enough system, eventually you will have a short period of anomaly. And that's the good and the bad too. And you'll have periods of anomaly where it's well below your normal win rate, like a 50% win rate, and that happens. But it usually sits about 75%, 80%. They're absolutely crushing the VIX, which once again is that's their whole derivative right there, is just pumping up the VIX, inflate the premiums, deflate the premiums. It's all about the short dated options. That's it. Here's your 4-hour chart. There's like 90,000 of open interest on the 5750s and 660s 32 days out. Just can't understand those positions are like 540 here and like 15. Yeah. There's a lot of hedging and spreads in the markets too. Yeah, gold and silver are just blasting. Absolute blasting. Silver's up almost 7%, gold is up 1.8. Looks weak. This looks like it could roll. Well, I mean, yeah. Nasdaq continues to buy everything up here. S&P's doing the same thing, just grinding higher and higher. I mean, heck, we're already up 50 points from the open and just not stopping. This is the same exact session as Friday, just low volume, never-ending grind. So, and I'm going to do the same exact thing I did Friday, which is a whole bunch of nothing. A whole bunch of nothing. Wasn't super high volume. Yeah, there's been a couple of lower volume stuff like that, but it's just nothing outlier. There he goes, another gigantic blast off candle on no volume. Just continue to go. Now we're going for 60 points on the day. Just going. 69.80, still going straight up. Still going straight up. Of course, I struggle with the slow grinding move up days. I mean, it's perfectly fine, man. I'm not touching it. Like I said, I'm not touching it. I will sit here and watch every dime of it until I get something I want to see. I guess a hedge. Yeah, I mean, spread, a hedge, whichever you call it. Yeah. We have 461 million puts sold. Let's go to the 5. 6975.75. Still going, straight up. NASDAQ ES, straight up, 6977. 30-second, 1 minute, all straight up. Not touching anything. Everything is silly as like Trump announcing an alien soon. 2026 is wild, man. It's crazy. We have, I mean, the worse the market gets, the higher the market goes. It's just we have war, we have our government's fraud, everything. It just go up. But what everything comes down to, and that's what's kind of throwing people for a loop, is that we know we should be going somewhere, but we're not. I mean, we're not going up, we're not going down. It's just sideways. But everything is being driven. SpotGam had a beautiful write-up about 0DT options. That's the whole reason why we are not moving. Markets are just absolutely dead flat because it's high volume selling and then low volume 0DT buying, just over and over and over again. Can't trade Michael Gold unless you're a funded balance over 1,500. Yeah, it's a bunch of nonsense. Once these accounts are gone on Top Step, I'm done with them completely. I'm just you start retroactively training rules, I'm done with you. There's only one true king of prop firms right now, man, and it's TakeProfitTrader. They are hands down the best, and it's not even close. They're so easy to trade, best in the business. Can't beat them. Daily payouts, lowest cost of entry. Large red candles here so far forming on the NASDAQ and the S&P. Can they do anything with it? We keep getting these sweeping top wicks. Can they do anything with it? I can't get my hero indicator to work really well. It's just so freaking slow. Bottom wick back up, of course. Everything's bottom wicked. I need volume. Massey for president? Absolutely. He is the only person I will ever vote for ever again. I will never, ever vote in a presidential election for as long as I live, unless they do stuff what Thomas Massey's doing. I'm all about it. The morning high right now is 67.5 or 6970.5. So did you see Lauder, Sun, and Flaw for Fed? I did not see that, no. I agree, Zach. I agree. Someone take some gold. Silver is 81.8. Gold is still there. We do have an extremely high volume top at 10:30 there, but you need a lower low. Could you talk about how the monthly is much higher versus a top step, for example? What do you mean? Man, these are some of the worst marking conditions we've had since 2018. I don't know what you mean by higher though. Top step is the cheapest, or TPT is the cheapest in the game, um, and the most valuable. So TPT is 40% off right now. They have if you use the code OMTPT, you get 40% off all of your evaluations. Plus, you get a free funded account. So when you pass the account and you go to get funded, and it asks you for your activation fee, they give you a credit that applies for a free funded account. So it's cheapest in the game, and you get daily payouts. There's no hassle. As of now, you can still trade silver. They're one of the few remaining prop firms that haven't restricted that. No hassle, no haggle. They'll never deny any of your payouts as long as you follow the no hedging rule, and you're good to go. It's the best in the business. There's not a bunch of nonsense. They don't change the rules on you retroactively. There's no consistency rule. It's a bunch of nonsense. They're great. They're the last remaining true prop firm out there. And I'm sure they'll eventually put in their own processes too. But right now they're just untouched, man. They're great. Could a lot of this choppy whipsaw action on SPY NASDAQ from such implementing our 2 DTEs on Tesla? Well, the whole cause of this, in my opinion, is the fact that they implemented 0 DTE options on the S&P. It's one of the reasons why we are now stuck for 5 months, and we keep having crazy big upward moves and then crazy downside moves, and it's because of the options. NASDAQ is holding the morning high, of course. I can't get my hero chart to move for some reason, so I can't see how many multi-billions of 0 DT calls are being purchased. Let me hit refresh. There we go, 2666 still going. There we go, 1.47 billion of calls, 400 million of puts, 2.2 billion of calls, 675 million of puts. Still going. Straight up. Same exact price action as Friday. Same exact trades for me as Friday. Why would options cause it? Options are causing it because they are the only volume you see on the chart on the markets is selling. So anytime they need to sell it, they'll just sell the market, and then they'll use that opportunity to buy up 0 DT calls. And that you get what happened Friday, and you get what happens today. Tremendous amount of 0 DT call buying, which has very little notional value, and then the market just grinds and grinds and grinds. You don't get any true buying. That's the problem here. There's no true buying in this market. It's just 0 DT driven calls, and then we dump it back over, and then 0 DT calls and dump it back over, and rinse and repeat. And now we have a 5-month going on 6-month consolidation. It's some of the worst price action we've had since 2018. So back and forth. Do I trade zeros? Rarely. Sometimes. Rarely. Only when conditions permit. And right now, conditions do not permit. Do you think MACD and RSI divergence? No. If you are trading MACD and RSI, you need to delete those off your chart as soon as possible, right now. You are wasting your time. So much more money pours into those zeros nowadays. Yeah, yeah. Does TPT allow micro silver? I don't know about micros, but they do allow the big boys. Yeah. When you go live, do you still have a max drawdown in TPT if I get 10K above my liquidation? I'm not sure. Let me read that again. When you go live, do you still have? Yeah, you still have a drawdown limit. Yeah. So, and when you get pulled into live, you have a 5K, $5,000 buffer. So you can lose 5 grand before you blow the account. So if you make 10, you still have a 5K buffer. That's it. That's your money. I mean, the live account on TakeProfitTrader is the best in the business. There's not a better live account of prop firms than TakeProfitTrader. That's the final like icing on the cake. Is that once you talk about all the good stuff about TPT, it gets even better. Their live account is the best in the business. Still going. Some of the worst market conditions we've had in 5, 6 years. Absolutely tremendously awful. And I think it's because so much liquidity got sucked out trading metals. I don't know, but this is awful. It looks like you trade micro on TPT. Let me pull up your order. Nice, there you go. Yeah, I've never tried micros on TPT. I don't know. I only trade. I don't. I've stayed away from silver on TPT. It was just too much. It was too fast. 2.4 billion 0DT calls. Let's go take a look at gold. Gold's still going. Silver still going. I've been looking into TPT. Do you have any good videos on your method for passing the test? Not on the method, although I do have some in the works. So what I recommend if you're trading prop firms, more specifically TPT, because they do have the trailing drawdown. The only downside, the one single downside to TPT is they do have a trailing drawdown, but they have to. If they didn't have a trailing drawdown, they would be out of business. So you have to take it with the good with the bad, because everybody would just absolutely destroy their liquidity. You would make too much money. So their trailing drawdown is there to catch the people who don't have a system, who are gamblers. That's the nature of the beast. I've talked to them about it. It's their business model. If they didn't have it, they'd be out of business. So once you overcome that, obviously it's tremendously amazing. So what I recommend you do is, of course, you have to maintain small position sizing on your evals. You have to, as you're building your buffer, you have to take profits quickly. You can't allow a large profit to draw down into even break even. So you have to put on high quality trades. You have to be patient. And you have to pick your entries very carefully. And once you do that, you start to build your buffer. And as you become more profitable and you get funded, I recommend building 2x your buffer, so your buffer times 2, or I guess just twice your buffer. And then you start taking, as many payouts as you need to, and you can build as you need. But do not trade minis. Don't trade minis. Or you will get clapped. I wish we had sell days like this, where it just sells and sells and sells and never even puts on a bottom wick. That'd be nice. Be a lot more fun. I don't have the huevos for minis. There you go. It sucks because it's hard to catch long moves at the beginning, but you have to just set reachable PT before a pullback. Yep. Yep. Which is why I wait for high volume spikes, because a high volume spike will tell me when we have those resistances, and I can get in a trade. But until then, I'm not touching nothing, man. It's going to be 60, 65 degrees out and clear skies. I got better things to do than sit here and watch this low volume nonsense. Did you say don't trade minis? If you're on TPT, I do not trade. I do not recommend trading minis. So it's just too much. It's too much. Unless you've got a very, very accurate entry point, you're going to lose your accounts more than you get paid out trading minis. $25 and 293 on Nasdaq. Still going. Still going. ES is still going. Nasdaq is still going. Just straight up. Straight up. I tend to think the lousy price action is usually a larger distribution pattern. I think institutions are passing the bags. No, 100%. 100% agree that this is that's exactly what's happening. We are in distribution on the macro, and they're using 0 DTEs to maintain this and dump their bags onto us. And the longer we stay up here, that's exactly why that whole sentiment. The longer we stay in this range, the lower my overall ES price target goes, and it's going lower and lower and lower because the more aggressive the move is going to be. You mentioned why we can't have red days. I agree with that frustration, but it's by design. Way easier to catch sustained longs than shorts. Yeah, 100%. This is wasting time, gym time, and I'll see what the 3 p.m. market brings. Nice, Jonathan. Well done, buddy. Gold. Nasdaq is blasting. ES is blasting higher, higher, higher. Gold, man. Nice, Damien. Well done, buddy. NASDAQ is still straight up, still going. S&P still straight up. We're up 60 points from the open. Terrible price action. Absolutely awful. We have $3 billion in calls. We have $980 million in puts sold. There were some people here on Friday talking about some puts over the weekend. Well, if they closed them at the open, they would have been very profitable. Markets were down, what, 50 points at the open? But if they held them, yeah, they would have got wrecked. The thing is, when they do this price action here, it's very obvious what they're attempting to do. They're going to smoke the puts, they're going to juice the calls, and then tomorrow we'll completely inverse all of it. It's just over. That's what they did over the nighttime session. They pumped the calls on Friday. They dumped it at the open to wreck everything. Now they're buying it back up again, and they're going to dump it back over tomorrow. It's just rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Give everyone a whole call and boom. Yep, that was me. Sold a couple of them for profit. Now they're under, but they're 320. Nice. Could you please go over how you distinguish between absorption to go higher and distribution? Yeah, so absorption to go higher usually occurs after a test into resistance. So let's call this line resistance. Let's just say, theoretical. And price action climbs into it, and we have a couple of rejections off of it, and then we come up and grind against it, and the price action kind of sticks to it. We have a prolonged period, whatever time frame you're trading on. It could be multiple days if you're on the daily. It could be minutes if you're on the 5-minute. And then eventually you see a couple of ticks into it with low volume. You do not want to see volume spikes. And then finally it breaches. So this is absorption here, this type of price action. If you're looking for a pattern, the way it distinguishes itself on the pattern is what's called a bullish triangle. So it's a flat top, and then you have this little wedge price action. This is a bullish triangle where price action just lower. It has higher lows, but the highs aren't taking out highs. And then finally it breaches. It's an absorption pattern. Horrible price action. I'm done. Nice wood. Have a good rest of the day, buddy. ES is still going straight up. Not a single 1 minute tick. Not a single one. Gold's just rocketing? Yeah, it is. Look at that. Nice. Silver straight up, everything. It's going. I believe after February OPEX we get a real sell. We'll see, man. This is starting to get a little old. It's going a long way. According to the data from Vander Research, retail traders poured approximately $430 million into the largest silver ETF over 6 trading days ending Thursday. This included more than $100 million on January 30th alone, when silver suffered a record 27%. Oof. Wow. Wow. Does that make sense, though? You asked about the absorption. Does that make sense? Oh, man. Good, good. A little bit of put buying. Very little. No positions for me unless I have a 3C. We're coming up on my lockout, though. We're coming up on 10:30 lockout, which means it's time for me to go do other stuff. I have to get the infrastructure ready. We're about to get some cattle, and we're about to get 60 meat chickens, and we're about to double our egg production. So we're about to put in 2 high tunnels. Farming is about to kick off, baby. We're about to build our 6th income source. Multiple sources of income, baby. Do it. When do you trade options and when do you trade futures? I trade options when things get extremely volatile. When volatility is high, when VIX is over 20, when the market is moving a lot, that's when I trade options. In my opinion, that's the best time to trade options. Because if you're going to take the risk of trading options, I'm going to make sure the juice is worth the squeeze. In this nonsense where things are just slow and slow and slow, this is not the market to trade options. You are going to get wrecked playing short-dated options day to day. Now, if you want to take some long-term swings, and see if things work out and sell some premium against them, that's probably the best way to do it. But if you're trading the momentum, this is not the option. This is not the market to do it. When I see 100-point days on the S&P and things are high volume and I can identify pivots, that's when I'm going to start shifting a lot more towards my IBKR and trading a lot of options. But this nonsense, I'll let my prop firms absorb this back and forth crap. So if I lose a couple of prop accounts, no big deal. It's no big deal for me. Whatever. But on my IBKR, if I start getting popped with options, then I'm going to start taking some heavy losses, which is no bueno. You know the volume yeah. The second I leave, we'll have a 50-point dump, 100%. Yeah. That's the way it works. Maxwell declined to answer any questions on the Jeffrey Epstein, citing the Fifth Amendment. Shocking. The Epstein files revealed that in 2018, hundreds of gallons of sulfuric acid was delivered to the island. Now, why would that be? Anyone who's watched Breaking Bad knows exactly why they delivered sulfuric acid to the island. Even though that was hydrochloric acid. But sure, there's a reasonable expectation. Yeah. Yeah. All the news media is posting it's terrible. Well, 2 days of some of the some of the most horrific price action we've seen in a while. But time's coming. We just got to be patient. Just got to be patient. There is some great stuff going on in silver and gold, though. They put on some beautiful high volume moves. Do you have to hire help to manage the farm yet? No, I mean, maybe one day that'll come to it, but just like all businesses, we're starting slow. I've never been a farmer before, so the first tiptoe into farming was chickens. We got 25 chickens, and it's actually been extraordinary. It's one of the highlights of my day is kind of taking care of those things. So we get 2 dozen eggs a day. Even now, we're still getting 15 eggs a day. It's very easy to take care of, hands off. The way I design things, it's extremely hands off. I only have to feed and water them every other day. Yeah, so from there, we're going to double our egg productions. So we're getting 25 more chickens this month. Then we're going to get a couple of heads of cattle. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Then we're going to get 60 meat chickens. I'm going to build Joe Salatin's egg mobile. And we're going to get 60 meat chickens. And if those work out well, we're going to do 120 in June, and if those work out, we're going to double to 240. And we're going to keep on doubling until we can't hang on anymore. The goal is to get 10,000 meat chickens. That's the goal, and then we'll go from there. But eventually, I'm sure we'll have to hire help. Sure. That's what kids are for. Yeah. Favorite egg recipe? Probably an egg taco. Breakfast taco is where it's at. Chorizo, egg, and a little bit of cheese. It's fantastic. I love hard boiled. I mean, I love eggs in general. Hard boiled eggs, just regular scrambled eggs. I tried Gordon Ramsay's fancy, scrambled eggs, but it's like eating egg pudding, which is terrible. I didn't really care for it. Even his son says he hates them, so who knows? Yeah, it's like egg pudding. It's terrible. If you want a business to get into though, and you have 5 acres, there is a massive market in your local communities for affordable, high quality organic food. People are starting to realize they're eating poison. I think more on a mainstream level they're starting to realize it. So if you want to get into a business that's not necessarily that's not white collar, farming is where it's at. I think it's going to be the new age. I think it's going to be incumbent on the local communities to support their produce, especially when the national system fails. I mean, look what happened this weekend. Or last week. They went and tested all of the quote unquote organic health breads in the stores, and they all have glyphosate. They all have lead and arsenic. You wonder why you're gluten intolerant? It's not because of gluten. It's because you're eating poison. Literal poison. It's turning the frogs gay. Which is accurate. It's true. I was not gay, but hermaphrodite. It's making the frogs change their genders. The glyphosate is. Nasdaq is still drifting. They're trickling in a little bit of puts here. We'll see. While it's quiet, so it's a good setup, when you have a level that you're looking to trade from and price action has broken through it based on and moved back in on low volume, does that come from me that the level doesn't have enough supply, so it's relatively safe to wait for price to break until that level? Yeah, so any level you post, you remember all that stuff, that's the easy stuff. Posting levels, that's easy. I do it every morning. You just look left, top wick, bottom wick. You look at prior pivots, and then from there, you analyze what happens when that level gets to it. You have a certain level of anticipation based on experience in backtesting, what's going to occur at a level depending on which time frame you're on. If you're on if you're going off of like just a 1 minute, 5 minute touch, then you don't expect much. If you're looking for a monthly low or a monthly high, then that is where you really want to show your confidence at those levels. So when I post a level and the price action comes up to it and doesn't really react to it, then I have to completely disregard that level. So my goal is to plot high confidence levels based on historical evidence, and then I apply my 3Cs when the price action gets to it. If I don't have a 3C, then I can't play it. The only time I'll really front run a level without a full 3C confident, only on bottom wicks to bounce to go higher, and only at severely large levels, like a monthly low, a quarterly low, a level we haven't touched in a long time. Because if the price action is selling off and we're coming on down to like a 4-month low we haven't touched in 4 months, I guarantee we're going to bounce off of it at least one time. And that's the stuff you want to exploit. In fact, if you are a trader who is desperately wanting to become consistent and you want to trade less, you don't take a single trade unless price action is touching a monthly high or a monthly low or something like that, and that's it. Because that is as easy as money can get. I don't know this for sure, but I could probably bet if you take the past 24 months of data and every time I've longed off a monthly low, I would probably say it's a 100% win rate. I don't think I've ever lost on a monthly high or monthly low rejection or bounce because it's that consistent. Of course, as long as you're playing properly position size. But the problem is that only happens like once every couple of weeks or months. So can you be patient enough for that? Glyphosate is Roundup straight poison. Yeah. So the problem is, like, I went to the USDA to get like a farming like analysis recommendation. They want me to spray glyphosate to kill all the weeds. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not spraying glyphosate. I'm not doing anything. Small top wick, NASDAQ. Have you been near a chicken farm? Chicken poop is the worst smelling thing of all poop. I mean, I have 25 chickens now. I've smelled chicken poop. I mean, I have to clean out the coop every now and then. But, I mean, it's a farm. You're going to smell poop. Exactly. Hire some goats. Let's go to the 5. Do we have anything? We have no volume spike. We do have a top wick, but that's it. Is that the same Trader J? No, unfortunately, that Trader J is gone. This is a different Trader J. I have a friend that's gluten-free, but he went to Italy. He was able to eat the bread and pasta without any reaction. Yeah, I've heard that before, and I've had that, closer service sources, I've heard that before. In fact, there is a restaurant, a pizza restaurant in town that, they source their traditional Italian. They get all their flour from Italy. And you could eat like an extra large pizza from there, and you don't feel all that full. Obviously, it's still a lot of food, and you don't feel all that full. Whereas if you go have like a medium pizza from Domino's, I mean, it's terrible. Heard there was a giveaway. No, I didn't do that. Let's do it today. In fact, let me go ahead and post that now. I completely forgot about it. I apologize. Let's do one now. Thank you for reminding me. All right, we're going to do a $50,000 account giveaway on TPT. Head down to the right channel and sign up. There you go. My granddad called that smell money. Yeah. Italy makes their bread in 48 hours. In America, it's 2 hours to make. American bread is super processed. I ate pizza in Venice all day and lost weight. Yeah. Yeah. It's terrible. Nasdaq is still going straight up, not a single top wick that's holding. The S&P is still the same. They are selling calls and buying a couple of puts here, not much, but still, the market refuses to sell. It's straight up. Straight up. No trades for me today. I haven't taken a single trade, and I don't intend to until I get a 3C. Until I get a 3C. Nasdaq's still going. Slowest moving freight train. It's like that scene in Austin Powers. I mean, look at this. You tell me that's not an algorithm? There's no real buying here. They're just literally, the algorithm is set to buy with the positive gamma. How to join the giveaway? Yep, it's on Discord only. Discord only. You have to be a member of the Discord. We'll do later this week. We'll do a 150 account giveaway for the tier 2 members. I used to catch chickens to be butchered when I was a kid at a huge chicken farm, and I'll never forget that smell. They had tens of thousands of chickens. Yes, we'll be doing rotational grazing with them, so it won't be all contained into a house. So Nasdaq's still going. Still going. Straight up. Look at that. I mean, heck, this is so far a 400-point day without a single pullback. Just straight up. Straight up. Straight up. It's very aggravating. I'm not going to lie. This is the part of streaming live that sucks. It's very aggravating. It's very aggravating to watch this go without a trade, missing all this action without taking a trade. Still going, straight up. I hate this price action. It's the worst. I'd rather price action chop in a 5-point range than do this. I loathe this price action, and yet it keeps happening 2 days in a row now. Maybe this afternoon we'll get a good dump. I don't know. We'll see. Honestly, as long as I don't, when I leave the charts, I will set volume alerts, and I will not come back unless I get that volume alert trips. So if they manage to sell all this off without giving a volume spike, then I'll miss it. But if I get a volume spike, I'll come back, I'll analyze, and I'll see if I can get a trade on. Until then, I've got better things to do. Better things to do. I got a lot of trees to cut. I have a whole bunch of trees down at the property. And that is it. Still going, 350, still going. $355, still going. Can't decide whether or not I want to file taxes this year. Yeah, I agree. I thought about that myself too, but there's a fight to be had, but we're not there yet. If you don't pay taxes now, you're going to get put in jail, but there's going to be a time and a place for that, but we're not there yet. Got to do it right. Got to do it right. Someone on Polymarket has bet 100 grand that the U.S. will strike Iran today. That's why this market's pumping. They're going to one last attempt at juicing calls and liquidating the puts, and then it's going to go. Funny thing, my CPA emailed about documents said maybe next year. She responds very confused. I like it. You can go to jail for that, but yeah, that's the problem, Zach. All right, y'all, that is 10:30, 11:30 Eastern, which means I am done for the day. I apologize. I've been sitting here doing absolutely nothing. I did not earn my money today. But hey, that's when the market does this. My system does not give me an entry. I apologize. So if you have any questions, please hit me up. If I see anything, of course, I'll let y'all know. I'll look for a high volume spike. But yeah, unfortunately, this is some of the worst price action we keep on getting. If you look on the daily chart here, we are just smack dab once again in the middle of this stupid range. We have now been in this range since September 8th. September, October, November, December, January, February. 6 months we've been now smack dab in a range. How long is it going to go? The longest range now since 2018. So that means something. That's called a change of character. If you're unaware, when the market changes, that's a change of character. You have to understand what's going on and why it's doing that. Something's changing. We just don't know what yet. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Hit me up with questions. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm out. See ya.